They had us believing that the attack on Superstar at Saturday night's main event was some kind of mystery. Some kind of unsolved puzzle that the WWE Universe was supposed to sit on and wonder about until WrestleMania 42. They wanted us confused. They wanted us distracted. And the saddest part? It worked. People were throwing out names left and right. Was it the Shield reforming? Was it a Hollywood celebrity? Was it someone from AEW jumping ship? The internet was on fire. And WWE sat back, rubbed their hands together, and laughed. But here's the thing: Nick Aldis just blew the whole thing wide open. The general manager of SmackDown stepped in front of a camera and revealed the identities of all three mystery attackers. And let me tell you right now, the moment I found out who these three people are, my jaw hit the floor. Because this is either the most genius booking decision WWE has made in the last 5 years, or it's the beginning of the biggest disaster heading into the grandest stage of them all. And by the end of this video, you are going to have a very strong opinion about which one it is. So don't you dare click away. Segment 1: Setting the scene. What happened at SNME? Let's go back to Saturday night's main event, because if you haven't seen what happened, you need to understand the full picture to appreciate just how significant Nick Aldis's revelation truly is. It was supposed to be a night of momentum heading into WrestleMania season. The energy was electric. The crowd was hot. And then, out of nowhere, the lights went out. And when they came back on, chaos. Pure, unfiltered chaos. Three figures in black, faces covered, descended on the ring and absolutely demolished one of WWE's top stars. It wasn't just an attack, it was a statement. It was coordinated. It was planned. These weren't random masked men. Every single movement was deliberate. The way they entered, the way they executed their assault, the way they disappeared before anyone could react, this was rehearsed. This was a faction. And the moment it happened, the internet erupted like we hadn't seen since the days of the Nexus. People were absolutely losing their minds trying to figure out who was behind it. WWE, to their credit, played this perfectly in the immediate aftermath. No announcements. No hints. Just radio silence and a whole lot of cryptic social media posts that told us absolutely nothing. The speculation machine ran at full capacity for days. Forums, comment sections, podcasts, everyone had a theory. And that buzz? That organic, genuine wrestling fan buzz? That's worth more than any promotional campaign WWE could ever run. They had us right where they wanted us. But then Nick Aldis stepped up, and everything changed. Segment 2: Nick Aldis speaks, the revelation. Now, let's talk about Nick Aldis for a second, because the way this man has evolved as an on-screen authority figure has been nothing short of remarkable. When he first came in as SmackDown general manager, a lot of people, myself included, were skeptical. We thought he was just going to be another suit at a desk making matches and getting interrupted by heels. But Aldis has carved out a real presence. He commands the room. He speaks with authority. And when he has something to say, you listen. So when Aldis called a press conference, an actual, formal press conference to address the SNME attack, the wrestling world collectively leaned forward. This wasn't a backstage segment. This wasn't a quick in-ring promo. This was deliberate. This was WWE saying, what Nick Aldis is about to tell you matters. And they were right. Aldis walked in with that controlled intensity he does so well, adjusted the mic, looked directly into the camera, and proceeded to name the three individuals responsible for the attack. He didn't stutter. He didn't hedge. He named them clearly, he presented what he described as irrefutable evidence, and he announced that all three will be making their presence known at WrestleMania 42. And the crowd, and I mean the live crowd that was watching this unfold, and the internet crowd watching at home, absolutely exploded. Now, I'm not going to bury the lead here. Let's talk about who these three people are and why this has the entire wrestling community divided right down the middle. Segment 3: The three attackers revealed. The first attacker revealed by Aldis is someone who, frankly, a lot of people had on their shortlist but nobody fully committed to because the situation seemed too complicated. This is someone who has legitimate, deeply personal beef with the person they attacked. This isn't a storyline grudge manufactured in a writer's room. This goes back years. Real history. Real tension. And the fact that WWE has chosen to pull that thread and bring it into the WrestleMania spotlight tells you they're treating this as a main event caliber program. When you see this person's face confirmed as one of the attackers, your first reaction isn't surprise, it's of course, how did I not see it sooner? That's great storytelling. That's how you make a reveal feel both shocking and inevitable at the same time. The second attacker is where things get genuinely controversial. Because this is someone who, depending on your perspective, has absolutely no business being in this spot or is the most perfectly placed piece on the board. This is a figure who carries enormous baggage with the WWE fan base. Love them or hate them, this person generates a reaction every single time they step through that curtain. And love them or hate them, that reaction? That's money. That's WrestleMania money. The segment where Aldis reveals this person's identity is going to be played and replayed on social media for weeks. It already has been. This is a deliberate provocateur move by WWE Creative. They know the fanbase is split on this person. They're banking on that division to drive engagement. And honestly, it's working, because here we are, talking about it. The third attacker, and this is the one that's going to have people hitting rewind and screaming at their screens, is the most unexpected name of the three. When Aldis said this name, the live audience went completely, utterly silent for a full 2 seconds before they erupted. That 2 second silence is everything. That's the sound of thousands of people's brains short-circuiting simultaneously. This is someone who, by all conventional wisdom, should not be here. This is someone who had a different trajectory, a different story seemingly being told, and yet here they are, aligned with this faction, standing at the doorstep of WrestleMania 42 as a confirmed antagonist in what is shaping up to be one of the most talked about angles of the entire year. The implications of this person being involved reach deep into the WrestleMania card. Multiple matches potentially affected. Multiple rivalries potentially recontextualized. This isn't just a reveal, this is a ripple effect that's going to reshape SmackDown heading into April. Segment 4: What this means for WrestleMania 42. Here's where I want to really dig in, because the revelation of these three attackers doesn't just answer the question of who, it opens up an entirely new set of questions around what and how at WrestleMania 42. First and most obviously, we now have a built-in faction story heading into the biggest show of the year. WWE hasn't had a truly dominant, cohesive faction angle at WrestleMania in a long time. We've had stables. We've had allegiances. But a fully formed, mysterious, deliberately assembled group with a clear target and a clear mission? That's a different animal. That's something that can touch multiple championship matches, multiple feuds, multiple segments across a 5-hour WrestleMania night. This faction isn't window dressing. If WWE books this right, they become the connective tissue of the entire event. Second, the target of the attack now has a WrestleMania moment handed to them on a silver platter. Because nothing gets a crowd behind a babyface more than watching them get jumped 3-on-1 and then having to fight their way back. The narrative writes itself. The underdog, the odds stacked against them, WrestleMania as the backdrop, that's a Hollywood screenplay. That's the kind of story that makes people emotional. That's the kind of story that makes people invest. Third, and perhaps most intriguingly, the involvement of the third attacker specifically opens the door to potential betrayal storylines within the faction itself. Think about it. This is someone with a complicated history. Someone who doesn't naturally fit alongside the other two. The seeds of internal conflict are already planted even if WWE hasn't acknowledged it yet. Pay attention to the body language between these three individuals in the weeks leading to WrestleMania. Watch every interaction carefully. Because if I'm reading this right, there may come a moment when one of these three turns on the others, and that moment could be one of the most memorable spots of WrestleMania weekend. Segment 5: The bigger picture. Is this good for WWE? Now I want to step back from the pure fan excitement for a second and ask the harder question that a lot of content creators won't ask because they don't want to seem negative. Is this actually good long-term booking? Or is this a short-term pop that WWE will struggle to follow up on? Because here's the honest truth: WWE has a history of incredible reveals that go absolutely nowhere. We've seen shocking returns fizzle out within weeks. We've seen faction storylines build and then collapse under the weight of their own ambition. We've seen WrestleMania moments that were electric in the room but meant nothing by the time the next pay-per-view rolled around. The key with this angle is follow-through. The reveal is the easy part. The hard part is delivering on the promise of what three highly motivated, clearly organized antagonists mean for the SmackDown landscape beyond WrestleMania 42. If this faction disbands 2 weeks after Mania, if the whole thing is treated as a one-night spectacle, then the SNME attack becomes another footnote. Another remember when moment that wrestling fans reference with a mixture of nostalgia and disappointment. But if WWE commits? If they give this faction a sustained run with actual goals, actual stakes, actual consequences? Then what Nick Aldis revealed has the potential to be the defining SmackDown story of 2025 and beyond. The infrastructure is there. The talent is there. The momentum is there right now. The ball is in WWE's court. And WrestleMania 42 is where we find out whether they truly meant it. Segment 6: What the WWE Universe is saying. I've been keeping a close eye on what the WWE Universe is saying across social media since Aldis made his announcement, and let me tell you, it is chaotic out there. In the best possible way. The discourse is split almost perfectly down the middle between people who are absolutely losing their minds with excitement and people who are deeply, passionately skeptical. And both sides are making compelling arguments. The excitement camp is pointing to the star power involved, the freshness of the faction concept, the genuine unpredictability that this angle brings to a WrestleMania card that, frankly, needed an injection of something unexpected. The skeptical camp is questioning the logic of certain character alignments, questioning whether the timing makes sense, and questioning whether WWE can actually deliver on a storyline this ambitious without dropping the ball. What both sides agree on, and this is the most important thing, is that they are watching. They are invested. They are coming back next week to see what happens. And that, more than any other metric, is what matters. Engagement is the lifeblood of pro wrestling. When people stop caring, that's when the product dies. Right now, people care intensely about this story. And that's a credit to the creative team, to Nick Aldis's delivery, and to the 3 individuals whose identities have now been confirmed. Closing the call to action. So here's where I leave you, Ring Rumble 1 family, and I need you to be honest with me in the comments. Are you buying what WWE is selling with these 3 mystery attackers? Do you think the faction of Nick Aldis's revelation is going to deliver at WrestleMania 42? Or do you think this is another case of WWE building something incredible and then fumbling it at the 1-yard line? Drop your takes below. I am reading every single comment on this video. I want to know your reaction to the 3rd attacker specifically because I know that name is still messing with people's heads and I want to see how the Ring Rumble 1 community breaks down on it. If you think this faction has main event potential at WrestleMania 42, smash that like button. If you think WWE is going to blow it, also smash the like button because either way, that engagement tells the algorithm that this content matters and it helps this channel grow. Share this video with every wrestling fan you know because this story is moving fast and people need to be caught up. We will be covering every single development between now and WrestleMania 42 right here on Ring Rumble 1. The road to WrestleMania just got a whole lot more dangerous, and we are here for it. The hook is confrontational and accusatory to drive emotional investment immediately, each segment escalates tension, and the close is engineered to pull comments from both hype and skeptic camps, maximizing the algorithm signal. Let me know if you want any section rewritten, names inserted, or tone adjusted.